Hi everyone, it's Kristi. Welcome to another chat and weigh-in video, I guess you could call it. I haven't done a weigh-in since before the holidays, so I want to share with you how I ended up at the end of the year for the holidays and then my weigh-in today. So I'm going to share that, and then I just want to kind of talk about 2023, what my focus is going to be, what some of my goals are. Not really goals, but just some of the things that I want to focus on, and also where I stand with Weight Watchers, macros, counting calories, intuitive eating, and all that stuff. So first of all, I want to say Happy New Year. I hope you had wonderful holidays, and I want to say welcome to those of you who are new. I saw that I have a lot of new friends who have subscribed to my channel, so thank you for that. And if you're just coming across this video and you're new and haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to be part of the family. And of course, for all of you, I love when you put the thumbs up on my videos, and I love when you comment down below. A lot of you know when you comment, I love the interaction. So many of us have built friendships just through our back and forth chatting through our comments. So I'm gonna get right into the weigh-in, and then I'll talk about like some of the goals I have for 2023. So for my weigh-in, I can't remember when I did my last official weigh-in video. I know the first week back on Weight Watchers, I had lost 3.2 pounds, and then the next week I had lost 0.8. So then that was December 1st, and then December was just lots of things going on, lots of birthdays, anniversary, Christmas, all that fun stuff. So I weighed on December 30th, and I was up exactly 5 pounds. Honestly, that is good, because the Christmas crack that I ate over the holidays, and honestly just living life and just enjoying the holidays. Here's the thing. My dog's walking under my Sky. Come here. But here's the thing, I know I didn't gain 5 pounds of fat just because I know how the scale works, and I know how the fluctuations go and all that. So I really wasn't worried about it. Honestly, when I got on there, I thought, wow, that's not too bad actually, because I knew, I can always tell, because I'll like, when I do this with my hands, I can tell that I'm retaining water. So that was December 30th, and then, which was actually, my weigh-in days are Thursdays, but that was actually last Friday. So it's only been 6 days, hasn't quite been a full week. It's January 5th right now, and I got on the scale today, this morning, my Thursday weigh-in, and I was down 4.2. So that is with New Year's Eve, which New Year's Eve I had a 47-point day because we had pizza that day, and I used my weeklies. So basically for the whole week, I ended up using all my weeklies. I used my dailies, I used all my weeklies, and then I used all but 8 of my exercise points. And I ended up down 4.2. So I was very pleased with that. So 4.2 pounds, to me, that tells me right there that a lot of what I had gained was water. I was holding water, because that seems more realistic, that I was up, 1 to 2 pounds of fat. That's very possible. I actually used to have an app, and it was called Libra. And I really liked that app, and I'm probably gonna download it again. I got rid of it last year when I kind of was doing the intuitive eating thing and getting rid of the scale and trying not to focus on that. But the Libra app was nice because it looked at trends rather than, like, you tracked your weight every day, but it looked at it as a trend. Like, you could be up, but your trend is still down. I could really see my fluctuations, and I could see that that number on the scale honestly is nothing. It's just data that's given to me. So speaking of intuitive eating and the scale, where does that leave me for 2023? Where do I feel like I'm going? So if you're new, you may not realize that pretty much all of last year I was in more of a maintenance stage. I just kind of wanted to take a break from weight loss. I wanted to just maintain, and I wanted to learn some things about my body. I had read a book called Intuitive Eating, and I wanted to try that. And while I love it and it's great, I'm not there yet. It's just not, it's not for me. I feel my best, honestly, when I'm in weight loss mode, and then just take small breaks, small maintenance breaks. And that's what I want to do this year. So the intuitive eating is great. And I know there's, this thing with diet culture and everything, but I honestly feel like Weight Watchers has really come a long way. I think years before, yes, it was diet culture, but I think they really are trying to get more of a health, have it be more about health. Because honestly, with the points that I have in a day, in a week, I can eat very healthy. I can reach my macros, I can reach my calories as long as I'm eating enough 0-point foods and I'm focusing on those healthy foods, those 0-point foods. I'm building around those and I have those as my focus, and then I'm eating the other things like refined carbs or snacks or things like that in moderation. That to me is healthy. My focus is on the whole foods, the clean foods, the foods that come out of the ground, lean meats, all that stuff. But I'm also going to have the snacks in moderation. I'm going to have those other things. I'm going to have those things that I show in my grocery hauls that are, pantry items and things like that. But I think with Weight Watchers, they really are trying to focus more on the health aspect of it. So as far as calories and macros, I have really been learning about the macros. I've been really focusing on proteins, and I think just in the last couple months I've learned so much. And also, a lot of you know I took a course last year to become certified as a nutrition coach, so I learned a lot about macros in that. So I'm pretty comfortable now without keeping track of my macros to know whether I'm hitting my protein goals for the most part. So I'm at a point now where I am still going to be keeping track of calories just because they're right there in front of me, but I'm not necessarily going to be tracking the calories and macros like I was before. So I'll still share the calories with you because I'll see, I'll know what the calories are, or like, let's just say that I'm making a recipe from my website or another website, it most likely is going to say what the calories are. So I will still let you know the calories. I'll still share that. I don't know that I'll necessarily share macros. I did do some comparison videos in my last What I Eat in a Day videos, just kind of comparing them. And I still may do that. I don't know. But just for me personally, my focus is going to be back to Weight Watchers points. When I was taking the nutrition coach course, I really was learning a lot more about macros and calories and kind of felt almost like I needed to try it myself in order to be able to help others if that's something that I wanted to do down the road. Right now, I'm not doing anything with providing macros to people. I haven't started a little side gig with that, but down the road I may throw up a website that I can help people with that, but just right now, I just don't have the time for it right now. So that's pretty much where I stand. I honestly am probably the most motivated I've been in a long time, in probably a couple years. I'm super motivated to be back into weight loss mode after, the little kind of sidetrack on the intuitive eating. And if you have tried the intuitive eating and it's working for you, wonderful. I'm really hopeful that one day I can get there. Now, I still, like I've said in another video, I'm gonna take the principles that I learned from intuitive eating and I'm gonna be applying them to the way that I eat with Weight Watchers. Even though I have, X amount of points on my plate, I'm gonna really try to remember to listen to my body. And if I start feeling like I'm okay, I've had enough, I'm really satisfied, I'm gonna do my best to try to listen to my body. So just some changes like that I'm gonna work on with it. So things I want to focus on this year, pretty much like I've talked about before, there are 8, what do they call it? The Essential 8 now for the American Heart Association. And the first one being sleep. I really want to try to get my schedule more normal. So I have really improved on the amount of sleep that I get in a night. I've really kind of kicked it up, and it used to be maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night, and now I'm starting to get it up more around 7, which is my goal. But even though I got that up, the thing I really need to focus on is trying to go to bed at the same time every night and then try to get up at the same time every morning, because those are like this. One night I could go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. I'm just like straight out dog tired, and I go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. The next night I could be up sitting in my bed editing videos until midnight. So it's something I definitely need to work on. I really need to try to, and the same with the weekends. The weekends, it's like, oh, it's the weekend now, I can work all night on videos or whatever it is. So it's just something I need to work on. I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself first. if I'm gonna help anybody else, I have to make sure that I'm helping myself first. And the same with you all. We have to make sure we take care of ourselves before we can take care of anybody else. So sleep is gonna be my number one thing. Movement, let's talk about movement, because something that I have always thought is that you have to move more and eat less. That's pretty much what I was always taught. But in talking with my doctor, I have found that because I'm postmenopausal, that may not be the case for me. So I really need to kind of try to figure all that out. So probably the biggest change, I think, for me for the beginning of a new year, any other year, it's always been about, this is my year, I'm gonna hit goal weight, I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna stay on track every week. This year, I'm gonna be experimenting. So even though I did the intuitive eating last year and kind of was figuring out calories and all that, this year, I really want to focus more back on the Weight Watcher points. But my goal is to see how many of the points my body will allow me to eat. So I'm really trying to play around with my points. Years ago, pretty much I would have like my daily points, and then I would have up to half of my weekly points, and then I never used my Fit points. This week, I used them all pretty much except for 8 of my Fit points. Now, before... Yes, it's 3 days later. That was Thursday. Today is Sunday, and I have laryngitis. So I got hit with it all of a sudden. I don't know if you could hear in the end of that video, you could hear our door beeper go off. We ended up having company, so I never got back to filming that night. And then Friday morning when I woke up, I almost felt like kind of like wheezy in my throat, but I wasn't sick or anything, and I haven't felt that in a long time. I used to feel that way years ago when I would get allergies, and so later in the day I just slowly started to lose my voice and just completely lost it Friday. So I'm not sick or anything. I think it's just allergies. We've, with the change of weather, and I know some of you, Deb, are gonna say, what change of weather does Florida have? But we have had a change of weather, and just, the air, the dryness in the air, it's just different. So I think that's all it is, but I feel fine. But I didn't want to end that video where it was, because I was actually leading up to a couple things that were very important to end the video with. And number one is that whatever program you are choosing, whether it's Weight Watchers, counting calories, counting macros, keto, whatever program it is, you have to do what works for you. I've said this over and over on my What I Eat in a Day videos. We all have different needs. We all react to foods different. The way that my body metabolizes food is completely different than the way that you metabolize food. So just find something that works for you. And remember, we're gonna go through changes. It's normal for us to feel like we just really need to try to, learn different things. One thing I want to make very clear is, if you're doing Weight Watchers, and I have said this to many of you in your comments when you question about, you're new to Weight Watchers and where do you find points or the calories and macros. One thing, and I'm going to read verbatim from one of my responses. If you're doing Weight Watchers, no, you don't have to count calories or macros, nor do I recommend doing both. They factor all that in for you, and that's where the points come in. Here's another one. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing both because it can be overwhelming. Simplicity is best. Here's another one. If you're doing Weight Watchers, I don't recommend counting calories and macros. Weight Watchers has that science for you, plus simplicity is best. So that's what I wanted to make sure to get back on here and state, because that's actually how what I was leading up to in that video, is that if you're following Weight Watchers, I just personally don't recommend that you do both. Also, keep in mind that we are all different. Things that work for me may not work for you. I've mentioned in several videos about, my high point days, or what some of you would call a cheat day. I don't call it a cheat day because it fits within, my points. So even my example of New Year's Eve where I had 47 points. So that was for that one day. I used 24 of my 28 weeklies in one day. Then the next day I might have had 21 points. And then I might have had 23 the next day. So I go up and down, and it's no different with calories, where you have kind of like a range that you follow. So with calories, I might go from anywhere from 1,300 calories to 1,800 calories. It's kind of that range. That works for me. I know some people who say they can't have a high day. They have to take their weeklies and split it daily. So if they get 23 points a day, they'll add 4 points to every day, so they eat 27 points a day. So the bottom line is we have to find what works for us individually. So I could go on and on because I just had a whole bunch more to talk about, but I will save it for a part 2 so I can try to save my voice. I'm really trying to struggle just to get this sound out. So I really appreciate all your support and your friendship. And like I mentioned, I really appreciate the thumbs up on my videos. Let me know in the comments how your 2023 is going so far. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.
Yeah, it don't matter what you're wearing on the bottom, does it? You could be there in your thumbs.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.